Hi, everybody. Welcome to Winning Mantras, an endeavor to ignite the spirit of competitiveness. For this episode of Winning Mantras, we have a very special guest with us from Nigeria. That is Marcus Olasupo, who is the IMEA winner of PNG CEO Challenge. Thank you so much, Marcus, for joining us today. It's an honor to have you here with us. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. I'm very fine. Thank you.
Okay, how are the situations in Nigeria and how is Nigeria coping up with the pandemic?
Okay, so things are still a bit sketchy. I mean, things are not back yet to normal, but they are gradually releasing the restrictions earlier placed. But schools are still closed. Many public spaces are still closed. But people are just trying to adapt to the new situation and hopefully return to a new normal very soon.
Yes, we all are hoping that we go back to normal lives as soon as possible.
I can't wait.
Totally agreed. So, first of all, I would like you to tell us more about who Marcus is. We would like to know more about you and also a little bit about your team.
Okay, thank you. So, Marcus, I love problem solving. I love problem solving, which is what makes me participate in these competitions. I love cooking a bit, yeah, and I love spaghetti. Then about my team, yes, my team is we were three. So I myself, then I have a colleague Sean that participated with some previous competitions. Then we have a third colleague, Temitope, who she's actually an entrepreneur, a student entrepreneur, and that was really key in the competition input she gave, and it's really worked for us.
That's quite a diverse team you have. So, how did you come across your team members?
Okay, so Sean is a very close friend. We've participated together in a previous competition, like at Johannesburg, and okay, so that was a no-brainer. Okay, Sean has to be on my team. Then when we realized we have to work on Pantene, like I mentioned, is an air care brand. So we had to think, okay, that means we can't do it alone. I mean, we are both guys. So and Sean recommended Tim Talk, and she came really handy, and I was absolutely glad she gave her best.
I'm sure she must have given some great insights about how Pantene is as a brand. And was she a user of Pantene as well?
Yeah, she has come across it before, but I'm not so sure of the usage, but she has come across it before. And even apart from that, she has like a hair care product. She also like does herself. So that was like just really key. And
Let's start with the basics of what the competition was. So, Marcus, we would like you to tell us something about PNG CEO Challenge. What was the competition about, and how was the entire competition structured?
okay. So the P&G CEO Challenge is hosted by Procter and Gamble, which stands for P&G. So it's an annual competition where participants from campuses, undergraduates, business school students, get to solve business problems for an actual P&G brand. So every year there is a brand, and that's what the challenge will be based on. So last year I think it was Gillette. This year it was Pantene, and a multi-billion hair care brand of P&G. So the participants are given a case problem and with lots of information that I expect to like digest through and then make a recommendation to the task given to you. So the task could be anything like growing market share, targeting to a new customer. It's sort of just the normal business problems, the experience in P&G. So that's what the problem is about. So for the stages, there is a campus round. So the campus round features an online case study competition. So you come together as a team and you take the test online based on some questions about the brand that you're asked to work on. Then there's a national round where all the campuses come together. The best campuses, the best that you're choosing from campuses come together and vie for the national position. So after the national round, there's the regional round. And so we have Latin America, North America, China, there's IMEA, which stands for India, Middle East, and Africa, which I belong to. And that was the round that was just completed. So the next round now is the global round. So that's just about 6 regions come together to vie for the global prize. So I think that's how it runs every year.
Okay, that's wonderful. And are you looking forward to the global round? And are you looking forward to winning the global round, Marcus?
Yes, I can't wait. I mean, I really want to make the region and my country proud. So I really can't wait and I hope we pull it through.
We hope that you make your region and country proud as well and dare to compete. Wishes you all the best for that, Marcus.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, Marcus, now you talked about a case study that you had to work on in the campus round, and then you had to work on subsequently work on the same in the regional round as well. So tell us something about the case study that was given to you, and what was the case, and how did you go about working on it?
Okay, thank you so much. So the case that was given to us was panting, but at different levels of the competition, I mean, at different stages, you are given like set of another problems. You are given a set of problems. So the problems are quite similar, but still different. So for this year, we were asked to help panting retarget to a young consumer audience. I mean, there's a new trend of personalization, generation me, and technology trends as well. I mean, things are changing now. There's even COVID-19, and they're trying to adapt to that as well. So it's more about helping Pantin adapt to the new situation. And then there's this new generation of independently funded brands, indie brands that are young and really vibe with what young people like. So P&G being a legacy brand that has been for a while, we have to make some initiatives to compete with them and get some market share. So that was the problem we're giving to increase sales specifically by a certain percent by 2020, which is the year we're in. So how we went about it, so the first thing is to understand the problem. I mean, there's the one sentence line of the problem, but you have to really understand deeply, okay, what are the limitations of this problem? What are the time boundaries? Like, who are the key stakeholders? What does solution mean? What does an answer mean for this problem? Then you have to understand the consumer. And that's something I really learned from this competition and what P&G really values. So they really don't care about your fancy ideas like, okay, do this, do that. Okay, but do you actually understand the consumer? Can you empathize with them? Like, do you know what they are feeling? So that's like another key aspect of the competition. So after that, you are going to get insights from data because the case competition will have okay past data of we'll have data of past performance of the brand, what is currently going on, and things you can probably get insights from. Then you brainstorm on ideas, you select and then polish the ideas.
Okay, okay, wonderful. It's beautiful to see how you've described the entire case study and how you went about solving it. One quick question, Marcus. Have you used Pantene before you started working on this case study?
No, I have not, and that's where having a diverse team comes in. So before the competition, I knew we were going to be working on planting because it's on the website, so you have some information before you enter. So I need to like get a teammate as a female because the planting is a hair care brand specifically for women, and I haven't used it before, so I can only like do probably the business technical part, strategy part, but my other teammate that happens to be a woman, yeah, was the one that really helped with the consumer understanding and segmentation.
This brings me to the next question, and that is that what was your consumer segment? How did you go about asking and connecting with consumers? And how did you know that these are the people that you should be connecting with? And how many people did you connect with to actually come to a conclusion that, okay, this is what the consumers want?
So the brand itself was like for 20 to 40-year-old women. So it's not like all women. So there is a target segment like okay, 20 women, early career women, and 40 plus age like that. So I think we had like 3 to 4 segments. Yeah. So and we had to segment them by their behaviors. So you have like the ladies that are just out of school, probably launching a new career or even exploring career fields, who I mean doesn't have so much purchasing power, but they want something very good. They want to look like their other colleagues. Then you have like the other end of the segment of women that are established, probably executives or maybe even a trader that can afford the premium price because it's a premium brand as well and just wants the hair to shine and stuff like that. So that was how we segment the customers, the age, then the purchasing behavior, the consumer behavior.
Okay, that's quite a detailed insight that you have shared, and I'm sure this is going to help the incoming students who will be working on PNG case solutions, and they'll give them a this will give them a brief idea of how to go about solving the case study.
Yeah, I really hope.
Okay, when you were working on your case study solution, were there any roadblocks that you faced, and how did you cross those obstacles that you faced while working on your case study solution?
Yeah, thank you. So, I think one major roadblock we had was we didn't have like everything we need. Like, you want to know like actually what is happening, but in real life too, you don't know like there are many uncertainties. So you only have like limited data, and we had to like make a lot of assumptions. Like you, and as well as much as you are making assumptions, they have to be practical as well. So not just something like out of the world. Like, okay, is this actually feasible? So while doing an analysis and while making our recommendations, we just find, okay, let's just assume this. Like we don't have the data, but let's just assume. And you just think like a customer. So the assumptions are not like things they can relate to. Even when while it's not backed up by data, you can still feel like, okay, this should actually be right based because I'm a consumer as well. So that was how we were able to overcome that.
Okay, okay. And how did you make these assumptions? Did you have a brief idea in mind? Did you have some data set in mind before making these assumptions? Or was it just impromptu, or was it intuition based?
Yes, it's based on, let me say, intuition based and also past experiences. So if you've worked on like some case studies before, you probably like know some general trends like, okay, price sensitivity, like raise prices, and mm, in generic times, in generic areas, consumers tend not to buy. So there are some like general things you'll have learned from past experiences and intuition as well. Some things you just don't know, but you make it clear that you're making an assumption, and the judges will know and they'll actually accommodate that.
Okay, okay, perfect. Now, when you were presenting your idea in front of the jury, and you had other presenters as well, you had a lot of other participants presenting their presentations. Did you come across any particular idea or any particular solution that took you by surprise?
Yes, we came across a few. So um, everybody approached the problem from different perspectives. So although we had the same data, but you can choose to like interpret them the way you want, and like you just be like, wow, we never really thought of that. So for example, now while we segmented by age and consumer behavior, there was a team that said, okay, the generation Z, okay, they are actually no more age influence, that the generation is so fluid, so they believe actually a 20-year-old can actually have the same segmentation behavior as a 40-year-old. They just believe, okay, everything is so fluid and people are much influenced by celebrities and doesn't really care about their age anymore. And we actually got some insights from there. Then another team was really big on implementation, and I actually learned a lot from there. So apart from suggesting the problem, they gave like a timeline on how actually the solution should be implemented to achieve the best results possible. And that was actually really awesome.
Totally, totally understandable. Okay, were there any international teams also where you found that okay, their idea or maybe their approach to the problem was unique and different from the others?
Okay, so yeah, we had other teams that actually came up with unique solutions. In fact, the six teams had like different solutions, so different paths. I mean, some teams recommend, okay, let's have a new shop and people can try out stuff in the mirrors in the shop, and we're like, wow, we never thought of that. But in everything that you are doing, the first, like I mentioned earlier, the thing is it practical and can you empathize with the customer? So that was actually the major key. The solutions are very nice, but what they were looking for is your logic of thoughts, your structure of thoughts. Okay, how did you actually come to the solution? Was it something that was derived from the problem they actually gave you, or were you just thinking out of the blues?
Definitely, I agree with that point that you have to have a feasibility check, you have to have an implementability check, whether or not the idea can actually be implemented or your solution can be implemented
Absolutely.
in the industry. And
Yeah.
only if that comes out well, can your solution be implemented and will you
Yeah.
win the competition? I think that's
Yeah.
an important aspect.
True.
So, Marcus, when we talk about corporate competitions, there are a lot of case study competitions that are held every year in these schools and in other colleges as well. So,
Yeah.
why was this PNG CEO challenge so special for you, and why was this particular competition, and how was this particular competition different?
Okay, so the P&G CEO challenge is actually different. I think in a number of three areas. So the first thing is P&G is a multinational brand, so they have like up to 10 brands raking in $1 billion in revenue. So getting to like actually solve problems on that much of scale is something huge and impressive as well. So you have a lot of things you have to think about. Then the second thing is that I really loved about the competition was you get the support from the local office. So during the competition, you are not left alone, like, okay, just figure it out. But you have like the P&G workers in your country or in your geography that come to mentor you and support you. Okay, they won't tell you the answer, they won't give you the solution, but at least they offer some level of support and give and offer you a limelight to better solve the problem. And the third thing is it's more real life. So like I mentioned, there were a lot of uncertainties. Like it actually felt like, okay, you are not even solving a case competition. Like it was an actual problem. It was, I mean, during the onboarding, they told us, okay, we could have brought in guys from McKinsey, BCG, Bain, but we actually want you, the students, the users of the product, and upcoming guns to actually take a stab on the problem and give us your best. So those were the specifics of the competition I really liked.
That's again a very useful and a very good insight that you have shared. And I'm sure that these points are will be taken care of by the students, and when they'll be working on this particular case study competition, they'll be intrigued by all of these points. I'm sure about that.
Yes, yeah.
Now, Marcus, when we talk about corporate competitions, another aspect comes in, and that is, why do you think corporate competitions are important for students to participate in? And how do they shape a student's life in particular, and how do they make them more professionally inclined, or do they give them a good picture of what the corporate realm is about? What do they do, and how do they help a student's life?
Okay, so I think competitions are really vital for students to partake in for a number of reasons. So the first thing is you get to learn a lot. I mean, I major in engineering, so you can imagine like that cross-function bridge. So you get to learn a lot. I mean, learn about the consumer, learn about different functions. I mean, when you're implementing solution, you have to think like in so many areas: sales, analytics, brand management, marketing, and you have to just infuse everything together and make sure they fit well into whatever you are presenting. So that learning part is very key. And the second thing is it offers you a feel safe environment. So when you fail, it's not so bad as in real life when things actually, I mean, you get the consequences immediately. So as much as, okay, you are there to win, even when you fail, you realize your mistakes and you can work on that in further in later competitions. And there are really no um, uh, there are really no uh, consequences immediately for failing in that kind of environment. And then you get accustomed to how what the real world actually looks like. So in the classroom, you have, okay, X equals Y, but in real life, things are much more complex. Like there are a number of things you have to think about. There are even things you can't really control, like policy, government, like the current pandemic. I mean, there are things you can do, but you have limited control over what can happen. So those are the benefits of participating in those competitions.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I totally agree with the point where you mentioned that in classroom X equals Y, but in real life, things are way complex. Things are very
Yeah,
complex, and things aren't that simple, and things aren't that easy. And I think this is what corporate competitions teach us. This is what they instill in us, that you need to understand that things aren't easy. You need to work on them, and you need to understand that failure is a part of your life. You will have to face them to move ahead and to succeed in life.
absolutely. I mean, you fail on some, then you improve. I've participated in a number of competitions before, and I've failed in way more than the ones I've really won, actually. So you learn from them and then you apply them in the subsequent ones you are doing.
Definitely, definitely. Now, what closing advice would you like to give to the students who are looking at participating in PNG CEO Challenge in their future in the coming years, and also who are looking at participating at various other corporate competitions?
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say is get a diverse team. So as much as you like your friends to be on the team, make sure you are not all from the same background because it's going to really help you. So I, from an engineering background, I had a teammate, same topic was from psychology, then other question was from engineering as well. So because it helps you in brainstorming and actually evaluating those ideas, so you're not thinking just in your own word frame, which many other people won't understand. Then the second thing is to be as practical as possible. So while implementing our solutions, we are thinking in our head, okay, if I'm actually a sales manager, will I implement this? If I'm a marketing manager, will I approve this? If I'm the CEO, like the competition name is, will I actually approve this strategy to go to? And the third thing is to make sure you understand the problem really well. I mean, get a hold of the problem, really understand the problem, what consumers, what's the problem, what is the solution like, what are the limitations of the problem. So those are the three things that I will give out to them, and I'm sure if they make sure they follow those, they will be successful.
Definitely, I absolutely agree with all those 3 points that you have mentioned. And it's amazing to see the kind of advices you've given to the people who will be looking at participating in PNG CEO Challenge and all the other competitions. Like, I am sure they'll be really inspired and motivated by your message, Marcus. Thank you so much for sharing that message. Also,
My pleasure.
thank you so much for being with us here today. It's an honor to have you on board. It was a pleasure to have you with us to know more about you and your story of reaching the IMEA round of PNG CEO Challenge. We wish you the best for the future round, for the global round, and we hope that you earn more laurels in your life. Stay safe,
Thank you.
stay home.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.